Everybody, this is Big Stack Numismatics, and I want to welcome all of my fellow coin collectors out there. It is Saturday, June 26th, a real soggy day where I'm at, and a fun day to take a look at some of these classic French coins here. Just real quick, on my other channel, I just pick this up, this really cool King Edward Gold Sovereign. So if you want to take a closer look at that, head over to my other channel, Big Stack McGee. But for today, we're going to be talking about the coins of Napoleon Bonaparte. So I got some really cool examples here. First up is a 1811 Paris mint silver 5 franc coin. And I just love this thing. Big coin. This is in, very fine 35 condition. And it's gold shield, so I'll throw up the picture that PCGS puts on their website here real quick so you can take a look at that. But I think just with the way that obviously it's been circulated and all that kind of stuff, but the dirt and the grime and all that kind of stuff, shading, kind of throws it into really a nice relief there of the bust there of Emperor Napoleon. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer on some of this here. All right, on the back. (1811) and the A stands for Paris Mint. Just some of the details on this, if you want to take a look from Numista. This particular version of the 5 francs is by far the highest minted. 31 million of these made in 1811 from Paris. And all the other mints across France, they had a much, much smaller mintages of this coin, or the 1811 5 franc. All right, then let's take a look at this one. Gold 40 franc. There we go. Let's take a closer. The details here. 1808, also Paris mint. This one's an extra fine 45. All right. So I remember a while ago, kind of the impetus for this was, 6-7 years ago, I picked up some gold 20 franc coins from Apmex, and they sent me Napoleon III, I believe the grandson, Napoleon Bonaparte, and I was just I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, I think I said random, but they ended up sending me these old ones. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like those, and it made me decide to do a little bit of research and go, how far back do you have to find coins of Napoleon Bonaparte from both when he was just a leader and then later emperor, and it turns out not very much further back. I feel like just 50 years or something like that, right? So a little bit of information on these. Now, if you're talking about French francs in terms of money, you have to go way, way, way back. But to kind of just get an idea, and I apologize for any of my European watchers. If I get any of these details wrong, please correct me in the comments. But based on a little bit of research that I did, French money goes back all the way to the 9th century, 8th century, with Charlemagne when he introduced his system to the French Carolingian Empire, and of the livre or pound, right? And that would break into 20 sols or shillings, and the sol would be broken down into 12 deniers, which was the penny, right? And that went on for hundreds of years. And of course, there's some variations on everything and how it related to the grains of silver and all that kind of business. But suffice it to say that when we got to the French Revolution, they changed things up. Okay, one of the reforms of the French Revolution. And let's just talk about that. The storming of the Bastille occurred in 1789. Okay, and then in 1795, in one of the meetings stemming from the French Revolution, making some changes and things like that, they changed the franc into something that was more of a decimal system of money. So the franc would break down into 10 decimes and or 100 centimes, and 1 franc equaled 4.5 grams of silver. Now at that time, 1 ounce of gold or would be the equivalent of 15.5 ounces of silver. So that ratio is lot closer than it is today. 4 times closer, in fact. But so going back to Napoleon taking power after the French Revolution, he in they started making these coins prior. I should say these coins. The picture of Emperor Napoleon started. I feel like 1807 or 1808 or something like that, right? Prior to that, he was on there as well, but not listed as emperor. He was just a leader at that point. Anyway, this system of money, the new decimal franc, would lasted all the way up through 1814 when Louis XVIII regained power. He was restored to the throne during the Restoration. Of course, after that, Napoleon took power again and was quickly deposed in 1815. And then, put on the island. He was kind of, for the rest of his life, he lived his last several years on an island, right? And we all know the history of Napoleon if we've gone through school. But it was interesting because at the time of the Restoration, there was a thought that maybe the French would go back to the livre system, back to their original idea of the pounds, shillings, and pennies, but they did not. So they stuck with the franc. And later, I would say, and again, my dates are fuzzy. I apologize. Probably 70 years ago, they stuck with the franc, but what they did is they said the old francs, you needed 100 old francs to equal 1 new franc, and so. I think that was in the 50s or 60s or something like that. But at any rate, I was just always fascinated with coinage that depicted monarchs that were very, very famous, right? In fact, I've had my eye on some going back to even the Roman Empire, trying to get some of Augustus Caesar. I would love to get one of those, or Julius Caesar, or some of the really famous monarchs. I just think it's just really, really cool, and it inspires me to do more history and looking up and things like that. But yeah, so let me give you one more closer look here at these awesome coins here. Emperor Napoleon. And again, this particular coin, they made 31 million of these. There's no shortage of these. But I just really liked the look of this one. And then here, the 40 franc. I guess it's worth noting that the 40 franc gold coin was not popular. Okay, at the time, people by far preferred the 20 franc version of this. Typical size. I believe it's probably 0.18, of an ounce. And this is what is this? This is going to be 0.3734 of an ounce of gold. So I would imagine that this is, being 40 francs is double the amount of gold, obviously. But this was not a popular coin at the time comparatively to the gold 20 franc. I would like to get one of those too, of Napoleon Bonaparte. So yeah, I want to. Yeah, I think next up for me, as far as the French coins, is I would like to find a gold 20 franc, and then we'll see from there. Maybe I'll get one of the versions of these coins that is before he was listed on here as emperor. But I'm just fascinated by the historical, the thoughts of who might have held these, right away post French Revolution, and these 5 franc coins are big. That's pretty neat. All right, what's coming up next? Recently, I picked up a couple of more commemoratives of my U.S. pre-modern. Excuse me, it's not prehistoric. Pre-modern commemorative coins, and so I'll be showing those off probably next time. And I've been digging for some ancient coins. I mentioned Augustus Caesar, so I've been doing a little bit of research online and trying to find a good specimen that would be worth investing in. But I'm just enjoying my time with some of these foreign coins that have some history behind them. So there you go. That's all I have for you today. This is Big Stack Numismatics. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you again next weekend.